my name is Twist, and this is Records in My Life. Are you listening? Are you listening? Walking home, am I alone?
Yeah, I'm in Barry, in Wales.
Oh, you're in Wales. I knew you were Welsh, but I thought maybe you might be in London, in England, for some reason.
I mean, I do live in London, but with everything going on right now, I thought it'd be good to come back because otherwise I would have been on my own for, well, I don't know how long, like without seeing anyone. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna come home and be
with my so.
Yeah, good plan. It's better off being surrounded by friends and family, right, than nobody, being in total isolation, because that's...
I mean, you'd like to think it would be, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
yeah. That's another thing.
Let's not, I don't mean brush this aside or be like, insensitive about it. Let's talk about some interesting things like your art, your music. Is that okay?
Absolutely. I mean, it feels wrong to not talk about it for a minute, doesn't it? Just because it's such a... But I hear you. There are like exciting things to talk about, so I'm so happy I can do that.
No, totally. Did Reed explain a bit to you about the show, what the premise of the show is, or?
Yeah, I've looked into I've looked at the interviews you guys have done, and they're great. Like I'm really excited to speak to you guys. So I know I've looked into the how it goes.
Fantastic, thank you. So we've established that you're in Wales right now, but you live in London. Shout out to Wales. One of my dear friends is from Wales. But anyway,
you know what? The flag's got a dragon on it. It's got a dragon on it.
That's pretty cool, man.
Other flag.
That's some
dragon on it. Sorry.
Tell me how Wales has inspired you musically.
So I think Wales had it had a profound effect upon me in the way in which it's so it's very small, and I actually moved out of I haven't lived with my parents for quite a while, so this is all actually very new for me as well, going back living with them again. Anyway, I moved out when I was really young, and I just basically spent all my time kind of reading and being online and just looking into subcultures and genres that I was into, and I just kind of gave myself an education really, and it probably wasn't the healthiest thing for me because I didn't really have much in the way of ground rules for being a teenager, but that kind of, I kind of made my own rules, I guess. But yeah, I think really moving out was really what kind of gave me a load of inspiration, because I was able to kind of build my own kind of reality, I guess. And I really, really did. I was really into it.
And you have a record coming out very soon now, so let's talk about that. Tell us a bit where you recorded it, who you worked with.
So I recorded it all in my room, and I produced most of the stuff myself. And then there's another guy I work with, Danio, who's in a band called Huskey. They're amazing. You should check out Huskey. So me and him have done it all. And then I write with a girl called Eden Treadwell. So that's my kind of setup really, and it's all been done in my room. And then we've got Rob Kinelski mixing it, who's fucking amazing. So it ends up in a really beautiful place. And that's kind of been the kind of that's who's involved basically.
Do you have a favorite track off the album, the EP, or a song that you're most proud of?
I can't say I do actually. You know what? I really love my music. I love listening to my music. People are always like, God, my housemates at home, they're like, don't you get tired of playing the same thing over and over? When I'm doing productions, and I'm like, not at all. I love it so much. Every time I hit that space bar and I listen to it, I'm like, yes. And they're like, fuck. They're like, we get tired. I'm like, okay. But no, I don't have a favorite. I don't have a favorite song. Maybe Girl on Your TV, the first release, is special to me because it was the first release, and I think that song was one of the ones that the first tracks where I kind of got a lot of the sound, a lot of the genres that I wanted to include. I managed to put them into the melting pot and create create it through that song. So that was like the first song that came together that made me kind of it gave me a vision for the rest of the project. So maybe that one feels like more sentimental for me, I guess.
Cool. So
thank you so much for being on Records in My Life. This show is about you, the artist, and the albums that have inspired you. So let's talk about a few of those. You studied, when you said you moved out, you said you learned a little bit about production and putting music together and building songs. Tell me a couple of albums during that phase of your life which really inspire you to keep writing.
So Kate Bush is one of my biggest influences. What was a little bug? And I guess like during that, I discovered Kate Bush during that time, and like obviously you can imagine the ways in which that opened my world, and the depth of it, and the production of that whole record, Hounds of Love. Yeah, I mean, like that was the thing is with that record is like it really is. That is like a whole headspace, and it's a whole world, and it takes so long to get into. And even now, I listen back to that record, and I just can't believe it. Like, what's the song I love at the moment? I think it's Watching You Without Me. I listened to that again the other day, and I just can't. Kate Bush. I actually watched last week for the first time in a long time. I watched Amy, the documentary, and I realized how much I love Amy. Amy for me is like she's like one of my favorite she's one of my favorite pop stars, you know, of like the last, I don't know, recent like pop stars, like superstar, like, cause she's amazing. So that album, like Back to Black, was like a massive inspiration for me growing up, because of who she was as well, and how she was just on her own thing. And she's a poet, you know, Amy's a poet. Like the thing with Amy is that she has got so much light, and she's really connected. She really is like blessed, Amy, and I'm so intrigued by her. She really is gifted. I don't think that like about so many artists, but with Amy, she really is like she's really gifted, you know, and she connects with me in a different way.
Great.
We started talking about we're living in the day now. This might be, well, not that far in the future, but we've talked about isolation and you know, living on our own and stuff. What albums are you listening to these days, do you find going back to?
At the moment, I'm listening to World of Echo by Arthur Russell. I actually went to a catwalk a few weeks ago, and I knew Arthur Russell before, but I basically went to a catwalk of this amazing designer called Ashley Williams, and she was playing a song on there called while they were walking, called Soon to Be Innocent. Let's See, I think that's what it's called. And I was just like, it just like recontextualized the whole thing for me, you know. And I went back into that album, and it made me think, actually, like when I was thinking before I was talking to you guys, how that hit me and how a lot of music hits me. It's really like how I perceive music, and the time and whatever like angle it comes at me really affects how I feel about it. So a lot of my favorite artists like Bjork or Bowie, like a lot of my favorite albums of theirs will actually be like the most recent ones, because I have like the kind of freshest feelings or memories attached to them. So like, yeah, and that Arthur Russell record, really, that I'm listening to at the moment, it's so fucking soothing. And obviously he like has mad like genre, like kind of he matches so many genres, and he's predominantly a cellist, but he's got like, he mixes it with like dance and like a bit of disco. It's fucking beautiful. Yeah, so I'm listening to that at the moment.
His music's impossible to like to categorize. It's really, he makes these beautiful like ballady music. Then it's like, you know, like you said, it's like you go to a record store. How do you put it into the
into the files, whatever, into the category if you're categorizing it?
You just need to be in everyone.
That's right. So what's
you know, everybody gets out on the balcony and dance, or the whole city sings together. They're doing that around the world. What's a...
Yeah, it's fucking beautiful. What's a good record for that? Oh God. For me, like, amazingly written pop that feels like it's written itself. I'm as interested in that as I am in like some of my favorite classical pieces by like Rachmaninoff, or like, I don't know, some you know, Elliott Smith. Like, I'm really interested in like amazingly written pop. So for me, like, I love Britney's album Britney, which is like, you know, has Slave for You on, which like she did with Pharrell. So I love that whole album. I love the Robyn record. What was it called? Konnichiwa Bitches. Some of my favorite pop records. What else we got? I'm listening to Lantern at the moment by Hudson Mohawke, which has got a song on there called Scud Bucks, which I listen to at least like 5 times a day, which like is. And then he's got another song called Riders, which is like he sampled some gospel choir. That's like very uplifting. He's very uplifting and like anthemic, you know, so like listen to that.
Well, that's the beauty. I mean, that's why I say that's the beauty of music that can capture you. What a great song that can capture you, and it can completely, you know, uplift you and make you feel good. That's the beauty of it. And listening, yeah, everybody's guilty of listening to the same song 5, 10 times in a row if they really hook onto it.
I love it. Yeah, I do it a lot. I listen to the same song a lot. It just, you know, it makes you feel, and you capture it and you just go with it. Yeah.
So you just got a job while you're not on the road or in the studio teaching kids music, and you want to send them home with an album, one record and it's got to have all the elements of inspiration, coolness, originality, and it's got to be one record. So which one are you sending them home with?
Kids. Okay. Let's go. This is a good fucking question, bro. Okay, what are we saying? Okay, I'm gonna go with Whack World by Tierra Whack, and I'm so happy with that decision. Although it's not exactly like classic and timeless, because it's like, you know, it's pretty fresh, but she is the future and she is amazing, and that whole Whack World visual album is visionary, and I think every child should listen to it.
Fantastic. That was quick and good. That's decisive. So that's the requirement.
I mean, like, you know, like, ask me tomorrow and it's going to be different, but right in this moment, let's go.
Well, that's how music is, right? It changes from day to day. You can't then your emotions don't get stirred, right? If you're listening to the same thing, then you become numb to it. But then when you discover something, yeah, like you said, listening to something 10 times in a row and you find yourself singing and obsessed to it, it's a great feeling. I love it too. I can relate to it 100%.
I feel you, bro.
What would you consider the album of your generation? Like, go back to your school. I know you said you kind of left home in that, but what would you?
The album of my generation. Oh my God. I mean, honestly, I think I know I'm like, I don't make music like Amy, or it's not like that, but the profound effect that she had on me growing up, and I know the profound effect she had on other artists coming out, like, well, like Duffy, for example, from Wales, or like Adele, or Paloma Faith, like all these girls who kind of like, she really like opened a door for that kind of you know, for new kind of soul music, but I'm not sure. Oh God, I don't know, bro. This is hard.
That's a good one.
And I'm just like fresh from Amy right now because I watched it this week, so I'm just like, Amy everything. But like,
that's fantastic though. But
here's a fun question. So to listen to your favorite record or inspire you to write, what's your preference? Weed, water, or wine?
Coffee.
That's good. That's good.
And finally, we thank you so much for taking the time and being on the show. We like to ask all our guests for words of wisdom,
advice, messages of love.
You're asking me?
Yes.
Wait, how about you? I want to ask you. Oh God, like, work hard to stay connected to yourself, figure out what it is that you want to fucking do, and put time and energy into that, and really enjoy it, and stay connected to yourself, and try and figure out who you are, because it's an easier way, it's an easier path if you have, like, you know, a way to go and you know what you want to do. And that's hard, I know it is. And yeah, just be yourself. Like, don't fucking change for anyone. I know that sounds it's pretty cliche, but I fucking believe in it, and it's important, you know. It really is. Having, you know, being in a situation where, like, you're in a, you know, in a where you're not accepted all the time, it's hard to stay that way, but it's really important, and I believe in that. And obviously, like, to anyone watching, like, who's going to watch this, mad love through this time, through this difficult time we're going through, and we have to stay together and stay connected and listen to amazing music and talk to each other, communicate, work in our communities, and do what we can for each other.
Very well said. Thank you. Those are, you couldn't have said anything better. That's terrific. Thank you. You're a terrific guest, and I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for time. Yeah, I really appreciate it. And you guys stay well, yeah, during this time.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you so
and your
much.
family.
Yeah, you too, guys. Thank you. Stay well. I'll speak to you soon.
Yes. All best of luck. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Hi, I'm Mark Henning, the other half of Records in My Life. Love it that you made it to the end of the video. Please leave us a comment, leave us a thumbs up, and subscribe. If you really dug the show, we'd love it if you'd consider supporting us over at patreon.com/RIMLTV. Cheers and see you next week.